Hi there, this is Brandy Miller again with another excerpt from the Poverty Diaries. This one is dated January 14th, 2014. Reflections. 2013 was not really a good year for me. Spiritually, I could feel myself moving further and further from my faith. I joined the Legion of Mary with no real desire to be there, but in knowledge that I needed some kind of tie to force me to be active. But it was a daily struggle to combat the spiritual lethargy that claimed me. Our business stalled out, and I found myself facing that same lethargy in my approach to nearly every project. I would get bursts of energy, but would have long stretches where I just wasn't being productive. Ideas came, but I didn't follow through. My husband and business partner became frustrated at my lack of purpose and direction, unable to get me motivated or moving again. I couldn't fix the problem. I felt myself sinking, but had no idea how to get out of the spiritual and emotional quicksand that was claiming larger and larger portions of my life. A few days ago, exasperated with my own failures to get my act together in virtually every direction you can imagine, I went on a walk and prayed. I told God that I could feel myself withering inside, dying, and I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know where the problem was coming from or how to address it. I knew I was broken, but I also knew I wasn't up to the task of fixing it. I needed help. In a big way, if 2014 was going to be any different from 2013. That night I had a dream in which a woman murdered someone because of something from the past that she wouldn't deal with. The message was clear to me. My problem was that I wasn't willing to do what God had asked for me to do 3 years ago. I wasn't willing to write my life story and share it with the world. I realized, too, that the source of my spiritual problems, the reason I was withering, was that I was cutting myself off from the vine by refusing to be obedient to His will. I was trying to form my own path rather than follow His. No wonder I was having a hard time of things. So yesterday I began to do what needs to be done to fix the problem. I'm setting aside an hour each day to free write, and then another hour in which to focus on writing my story. I feel better already, and the insights I'm gaining are amazing. I realize that I've been tired of struggling, tired of poverty, tired of failing, and tired of where my life is. And this is no surprise, because I've been spending every moment running from those things, rather than treating them as teachers and guides and using them to help me. It's natural to be tired when you spend your whole life running from the problems rather than dealing with them. Today I was reflecting on my difficulties with commitments. I try to avoid making long-term commitments out of fear that I'll fail. I get overwhelmed by them easily. And then I took a step back and looked at the areas where I have no trouble making and meeting my commitments. After all, I make it to meetings at church and my writers group and at the art club regularly with no problem. I'm usually early, if not on time, and I rarely fail to show up or forget to fulfill my obligations in those areas. Yet when it comes to my finances, to long-term commitments, or to work projects, I'm rarely as reliable or trustworthy as I should be. So I asked myself, what is the difference between the two? And how can I apply the things I do in my small commitments to the larger ones? I realized that the reason that I have no trouble making it to meetings is that I focus on the individual task at hand. I just focus on showing up, one meeting at a time, one appointment at a time. When I make a longer-term commitment or sign something that makes promises for years to come, I focus on my fears of failure and get overwhelmed by the obstacles in my path. I've made long-term commitments to my husband and my son and done these faithfully by taking it one day at a time. That's exactly how I need to handle the longer-term projects, especially work-related ones and financial commitments. I need to break these bigger things into smaller, easier to manage and easier to overcome projects or payments. I need to set smaller deadlines for when I will complete parts of progress so that I can tell how close I am to getting to the end of the project, which will help me stay motivated and fight my feelings of being overwhelmed. I need to discipline myself and prevent procrastination by keeping my eyes on the ultimate prize. This isn't rocket science, I know, and for some people it comes naturally. However, for me, this is where I am, and it's an important step forward in training myself how to fill commitments so that I can be a more accurate reflection of Christ in the world. Thanks for listening. I hope you'll tune in again for tomorrow's excerpts from the Poverty Diaries. Thanks, and have a great night.